This one is a 5-color deck. Our goal is actually that we do have a Reanimator theme, but we also are running Tiamet, the big 5-color boss dragon. So for 1 of each color plus 2 of any color, we have the ability that when we cast this from our hand, it will, after it enters the battlefield, we'll be able to search our deck for 5 different named dragons besides Tiamet, reveal them to our opponent, add them to our hand, and then shuffle. And if we actually do manage to cast this from our hand, most of the time this just gives us such a large amount of power in our hand because of all these different dragon cards, that if we're not dead from our opponents attacking us, we usually can close it out because of just the versatile dragons that we have. The main reason why we are a Reanimator deck in this one is we do run the Haunting Voyage again. So with Haunting Voyage, for 6 mana, choose a creature type, you get to reanimate up to 2 target of that type in your graveyard back to the battlefield. If you had foretold this, so you spend 2 mana, put it into exile, you can cast this from exile then for the 7 mana and get all cards of the chosen type from your graveyard back to the battlefield. It is specifically your graveyard, so you're not going to get any of your opponent's stuff. To help with the reanimating idea of this is we actually do have lots of looting effects. We have Faithful Mending, Prismari Command, Unexpected Windfall. So all of these are just lots of cards that allows us to draw, discard, or discard, draw. And the type of dragons we're running, we are running Icing Death, we are running Atushi, we are running Prismari, Galzak Prismari, Goldspan Dragon, Shadrix Silver Quill, the Adult Gold Dragon, and Tiamet itself. Also, Nadar, the Selfless Paladin. Now, the reason why we're 5-color is just because of Tiamet. So we are running a splash of green, just that way we can cast the Tiamet. We run the World Tree that just, once when we have 6 lands in play, all of our lands will tap for mana of any color. But otherwise we just have a lot of the different types of multicolored lands here to try to help make sure we can cast any of our spells. The type of spells that we have to try to help us get to this goal, we are running Battle of Frost and Fire as a way to deal 4 damage to each non-giant creature and each planeswalker. So this will help us kill off any planeswalkers that the opponent may have put on the battlefield that don't have a high loyalty. But this also does sweep up most creatures that are played in the early game, and even a number of them that are played in the mid and late game. We are running the Draconic Intervention. So as additional cost to cast this spell, we exile an instant or sorcery card from our graveyard, and then we can deal X damage to each non-dragon creature, where X is the card's mana value. If a creature dealt damage this way would die this turn, exile instead, then you exile Draconic Intervention. This card actually does help out a lot, because not only do we get to potentially sweep the board of all these creatures that might be coming at us in the early game, but we get to exile them, so we don't have to worry about them coming back. And again, like I mentioned before in some of my other videos, or even just early in the stream, the ability to exile is very popular, but it's because the ability to make sure that there's nothing coming back or death triggers happening is one of the reasons why exile is so useful to us. To also help us out, we do run a couple Dragon's Fire as a way of interacting with early creatures, but also even late creatures, because for 2 mana at instant speed, you can deal 3 damage to any target. If we happen to reveal a dragon from our hand, or choose a dragon in play, we can, as we cast a spell, we can then say it deals damage equal to that dragon's power. So if we have Tiamat in hand, we can reveal this and actually deal 7 damage to a target. Or if Tiamet's in play, same idea. In some cases, in a lot of cases I should say, we can upgrade the damage by revealing some of our 4-power dragons and getting the extra damage that way. The Spikefield Hazard here is basically another land type card, but it can also be played just to deal 1 point damage and make it so that way the card will be exiled. It does help against a lot of early game cards, especially in mono white or even red aggro decks. Well, that about sums up the deck. I know most of these dragons have some unique abilities that some people might not be familiar with. So we'll actually say something real quick about that. Shadrick's Silver Quill. This one doesn't usually see play. It's 5 mana. It's a 2/5 flying double striker. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may choose to. Each mode must target a different player. So the important thing is you don't have to activate this, but if you want to, you can. So the abilities are target player gets a creature that's a 2/1 white-black inkling creature token with flying. Target player draws a card, loses 1 life, and target player puts a +1/+1 counter on each creature they control. So this can be helpful because, one, we can give ourselves a little card draw benefit at the cost of life. And we can either choose to give our opponent +1/+1 counters if they have no creatures, or if they don't have anything that we're too worried about, like they're too wide or anything we're worried about getting pumped up a little bit. We can also just give the opponent the 2/1 flyer, or we can, in reverse, give our opponent the card to make them lose a point of life. We can give ourselves the flyer, or we can pump all our creatures with the +1/+1 counter, etc. so forth. So it has some flexibility to it. It does have the weird drawback that you do have to give your opponent something, so it's a little awkward, but it is still a flying double strike creature, so it does possess a lot of potential damage. The other reason why I like the card is it is multicolor, because as I mentioned earlier in the stream, I'm trying to come up with some multicolored cards in the deck because of the XL target monocolored card coming from white-black removal that's so popular. Another card that's not seeing too much play is Icing Death, Frost Tyrant. It's a 4 mana 4/3 with flying and vigilance. When this dies, we get to create a equipment, the Icing Death Frost Tongue, that you can equip to a creature, give it +2/+0, and whenever equipped creature attacks, you get to tap it. Target creature defending player controls with an equip cost of only 2. And that really covers the dragon cards that you don't usually see. A lot of people do forget that Nadar, Selfless Paladin, is a dragon, and the reason why we're running him is he's just an early dragon that we put on the board to help give us some blocking power. But the ability to go into the dungeon, we almost always choose Lost Mine of Pandelver just to get the early scry and potentially the early treasure for purposes of ramping. We don't usually get to explore the dungeon much with this, but again, it's mainly used as the early body. Alright, we'll go ahead and hop into the games and see how it works. Unfortunately, this doesn't look very good in the test results so far, but if you're interested, you can check out the link there to the MTG Untapped and see the statistics of the deck. Now, I do believe the cards I adjusted to it will help us out a bit. Off the start here, we'll go ahead and try keeping this. We got our early dragons, and we also have our Dragon's Fire. We don't have any of the looting cards quite yet. We'll lead with the beach here. And next turn, I think we'll go ahead and lead with the Ridge. Unfortunately, Naturalist Jukai does me over against the white-green enchantment deck. So, white-red-green. And they're going to immediately start going for free runes. So, question is, which one do we need to take out more? Is it going to be the Runeforged Champion or the Naturalist? I think we're going to have to take out the Runeforged Champion just because the opponent looks like they're going to stack up all the runes on the champion. And one of the important reasons why we want to get rid of the champion over the naturalist is that means that all of these will go to the graveyard, and we don't have to worry about them getting the value of enchantments being on board. I think we'll go ahead and go for Selfless Paladin here, actually, instead of getting rid of it right away. Try to set up our top of our deck. We actually are missing the second white source for Icing Death, so we will put that on the bottom of the deck. It's a bit of a shame we haven't hit any of our looting cards yet. I mean, it's great that we had the Haunting Voyage. Alright, put it with the Kami of Transience. How many more runes do you have, opponent? Michiko's Reign of Truth. Alright. So we're going to take a big hit from Reign of Truth here. I think what we're going to do is... Oh, we'll take this block. That will drastically reduce Reign of Truth during their turn. During our end step, we Dragon's Fire, reveal a dragon from our hand, and we get rid of the Kamiya Transients. We will also go ahead and set up the Haunting Voyage. Oh, it didn't actually go... It said end turn. Man. I thought I was actually at the end step. This thing is not very clear, unfortunately, when you're actually at your end step. Alright, we'll go ahead and scoop this one up. We can't win anymore. No red mana. I don't think we can keep this. Alright, this one we can keep. I'm going to put one Prismari command on bottom, and we'll keep it like that. We're against Mill. Mill's either a great weakness to us or a great strength to us, because Haunting Voyage. Let's... Oh, they put 2 Tiamets in our graveyard. Alright, we need to draw land. We are going to draw 2, discard, and create a treasure. Whoops. Target player draws 2, create a treasure. Discard 2 cards. We'll discard the green source, we'll discard Draconic Intervention. Alright, opponent's going as fast as they can with the mill. Go for the Goldspan Dragon. They're going to put it back in our hand, but we get the treasure that we used for it anyways, so nothing really happens there. Another Rune Crab for the opponent. We need another land off the top of the deck. Alright, we do get the land. Now we can Goldspan. This way, if the opponent puts us back in our hand, we can just go for the Haunting Voyage. Look at top 5 cards of your library, exile one of them face down, put the rest on the bottom of your library. You may cast the exile card without paying its mana cost. If it's an instant spell with mana value 2 or less, if you don't, put that card in your hand. Okay. This is one of those new cards that, it's something a lot of people probably don't realize came out because it's been, like, overshadowed by a number of other cards. Alright, opponent's setting up the mill combo. Alright, we're going to take a little bit of a risk here. We're going to Unexpected Windfall. We're going to discard the Adult Gold Dragon. There's 2 different reasons why this is a risk. One, because we're making it set where the opponent has the option to, or a possibility of counterspelling this Haunting Voyage here. And that would be all sorts of bad for us. Alright, so we only get to keep 1 Tiamat, only 1 Nadar, but we still get both of these triggers for the enter battlefield from Nadar. Let's see, let's go ahead and say each player loses life. And each player loses 2 life unless they discard a card. We will go ahead and give up Prismari Galzaf Prismari. Opponent chooses to lose the 2 life. Okay. Fading Hope happens. Goldspan is back in hand. Put a +1/+1 counter on all of our cards. Opponent can draw a card. So they draw a card, lose a life. We get a +1/+1 counter on each of our cards. Silver Quill Shadrax actually showing the +1/+1 counters synergies happening here. Because now we go for Prismari Command, deal 2 damage, get a treasure, and we get the win. Alright. So, there's a strong showing of what happens if we get a lot of our cards in our graveyard, thanks to our opponent milling us. It ended up working out really well. Okay, we'll go ahead and try keeping this hand. Seems interesting. We'll lead off with the Coast here, because most of our spells are on red-blue. Go with the Beach, because our other color primarily is white. I'll bring down the Ridge, and we'll just pass the turn. Alright, opponent brings out a Wedding Announcement. We'll go ahead and actually use the Prismari Command to deal 2 damage and create a treasure. Bring down the Pass. Go for the Goldspan Dragon. That way we can just generate some quick treasures. One of the drawbacks to playing against this deck is, again, they have Exile. But we do have a lot of multicolored cards that can play around some of their targeted Exile removal. And with them targeting like Goldspan Dragon to exile it, though, we'll more than likely at least get a treasure from it, because they'll be using an instant or sorcery spell. Alright, opponent looks like they're just going to pass back. Oh, they scoop it up. It seems that they got stuck on 3 lands, and with our turn 4 Goldspan Dragon, it was just a little too strong for them. Alright, off the open, I think we're good to keep this one. Again, we got to keep our hand with a Prismari Command. Strauss, I didn't actually put the deck name under here. Let's see, Tiamet? Am I spelling that right? Can't remember. Let's see. So, mono black zombies? Might be black blue zombies. Go ahead and drop the green source and pass turn. It's definitely a zombie deck, because of Archghoul with 3 of them there. We will go ahead and go for the Destroy spell right now, because the opponent does have some ability to sacrifice in response. And I'd like to make sure that they're not getting that value out of those cards, if possible. Alright, thanks to the Undead Butler, they are going to get back either the Fell Stinger from their graveyard or the Thraben. And they go for Thraben, because it's one of their best ways to, you know, recur their cards, or, you know, get their cards back after destruction. We'll get the Goldspan Dragon going. Next turn, though, we'll probably be able to get a nice sweep with Draconic Intervention, exiling our Prismari Command. And not only will this kill these creatures, but it's going to exile them so they get none of these death triggers. So here we go. Draconic Intervention. Exile. Opponent's got some kind of 1-mana interaction here. Oh, they do actually have the Village Rites. Haven't seen people play Village Rites in a little while, so I kind of forgot that that was a thing they could use. But it's a good answer for the opponent. They go back-to-back Village Rites here. Alright, back-to-back Village Rites. And the advantage of them sacrificing right now is, one, they get these death triggers before our spell resolves. But it also allows them to keep these cards in their graveyard for any recursive spells that they are running. We'll go ahead and go for Prismari. Actually, what we're going to actually do is we're going to Windfall first. This will just give us back the treasures that we used to cast this. And now we will go for Prismari. And might as well go for Nadar as well. We're going to be greedy on the board here. If the opponent does have a sweeper of some kind, we already have the Haunting Voyage in hand. And being able to see that we got this black-white, thanks to the Nadar, we know that we can actually play Haunting Voyage even if they sweep. Let's see, we only have one dragon in graveyard at the moment. This will probably make the opponent scoot, though. The reason why I say that is we're going to get this treasure here, get another treasure here, and we'll just play Tiamet from our hand. Because we're looking at having the lethal on board next turn, unless they have some kind of hard sweep, which they won't have for this kind of a board state. Alright, so grab these. And we'll pass the turn. So there we go, we actually got a hard cast Tiamat. And this actually, like, the opponent actually did a decent job trying to come at us early on, but we just had just the right answers for them. And that's actually a way to look at some of the power of the deck.
Thank you for watching the video. Please leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe for more content. If you'd like to join me while I stream, you can find me on Twitch in the link below. I hope to see you again in the next video and have a nice one.